Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Let's jump straight in and see what there is today. Let's start with this one. Joshua Buatsi on Anthony Yarde's KO threat. He's been saying that for years. It finally looks like we might be getting some movement with this fight. I think conversations are happening behind the scenes. Obviously, look, Buatsi's got Dan Aziz coming up October 21st, I think. That's a great fight. Great fight. That's a pick 'em fight, you know. I mean, I know a lot of people are swinging towards Dan Aziz. I'm still with Buatsi. I think Buatsi will get the job done. But I say that with no confidence. I think this is a great fight. I just think Buatsi has a higher ceiling than Dan Aziz. But, I mean, if you go with the what have you done for me lately, I mean, what Dan Aziz has done lately has been very, very good. But obviously, he's not fought anyone like Joshua Buatsi. So I think Buatsi is going to get the job done. And then I think we might be on the verge of Buatsi versus Yarde. I know I've been saying this for years, right? Years I've been wanting this fight, but I think it could happen. Obviously, look, we have an issue with TNT and Boxer. Where's the fight going to take place? I almost feel like the fighters have to kind of do this themselves. A bit like Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. Terence Crawford always talks about the fact that he reached out to Errol. Rather than go through all the promoters and the managers, he reached out to Errol. Or was it Errol reaching out to Terence? Either way, right? And they made this fight over a phone call. Like, they negotiated it, and then obviously they went to their managers and promoters. And I feel like this might have to happen with this one. Like, I almost feel like Buatsi has to get on the phone to Yarde and say, look, let's do this. Let's make this fight. People want to see it. People wanted to see this fight for years. And I think it's a big fight. I think there's a lot of money in it as well. I think it sells out the O2 Arena. I do. Or maybe a smaller one, but I think it does an arena comfortably. And, you know, for all the light heavyweights that have been in this country over the last 6 or 7 years, this is the one we've always wanted to see. Whether or not you think these guys are 1 and 2, for some reason, we've always said Buatsi Yarde. It hasn't been Craig Richards. It hasn't been Callum Johnson, Callum Smith, all great light heavies, right? It hasn't been Dan Aziz. It's been Buatsi versus Yarde. And I think we'll get it. I think we'll get it. And then, look, I don't know who wins that one. I think that is definitely a pick 'em fight, but it's a fight now that's starting to get a bit more heat again. And I think we make it. I actually do believe we see that fight, providing Buatsi gets past Aziz. I think we see it in 2024. Not long to go for the fight in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. You know what? Yeah, I think Ngannou's trolling us. I think he's trolling us. Look. Ultimately, I don't think it matters. I think Tyson Fury, as I've always said, comfortably beats him, one hand tied behind his back. If he doesn't, then there's a problem, a big problem, especially because Fury's announced the Usyk fight. But all these little clips that Ngannou's putting out there, where he's struggling to do combinations, his feet movement look awful, he doesn't understand about the jab. I think he's trolling everyone. Don't get me wrong, he's clearly not a great boxer. I'm not going to try and pretend he is. But I've been watching Ngannou for a few years, and every time he has a big MMA fight, they always do like their version of All Access. I think it's called Embedded. And you see him doing pad and bag work in that, and it's a lot better than it is now. And he's not declined. He clearly hasn't declined. So, look, he's trolling everyone. Trust me, he's trolling you guys. He's trolling me. He's trolling all of us. Will it matter? No, of course it won't. But don't look at the clips and start laughing and think this guy is useless. Again, technically he's not the greatest. I'm not going to try and pretend to you he is, but he's not as bad as what he's putting out. And I don't know why he's putting it out there, because, again, it makes no sense, because when it's all said and done, I think he gets beat. But yeah, that little stuff, like he put one out recently with him and his coach, and he pivots and the coach hits his chest and he tries to pretend he's off balance. I'm like, dude, you must think I was born yesterday. Now, you might trick some of the casual MMA and boxing fans that that see that on Twitter and think, this is a joke. You don't trick me, or you don't fool me. I tweeted it. I said, he's trolling us. He is trolling us. This guy knows how to throw a combination. This guy's feet aren't that bad. His hands aren't that slow. Trust me, they're not that slow. In fact, they're pretty fast. They're pretty fast in Ngannou's hands. Again, look, when I say pretty fast, don't. I'm not trying to say he's fucking Alexander Usyk, but I'm trying to say that he is a lot better than those clips are suggesting. And yeah, I don't know if he's trying to come with a surprise element, but Fury's camp will know this. So it's a weird troll, but trust me, guys, he's trolling. Again, can't wait for this, you know. I have to admit, You know, it's not this I can't wait for. It's the whole fight card. It's the whole event. The fight card is a very, very good all heavyweight fight card as well. Some really good names on there. Obviously, I think the standout one is Wardley Adelaide. That's a great one. So yeah, looking forward to this, and then hopefully Fury gets through this with no injuries, no problems, so we can go straight in to the big one. And already 2024 looks like it could be good, and it will be 2024. He's certainly not fighting for Alexander Usyk at the end of the year, as maybe some suggested. What's this one? Hearn feels Canelo versus Jamal Charlo is dead after Jamal's performance. Yeah, it is. Jamal's fighting Benavidez Jr., right, on the same card as Demetrius Andrade versus Benavidez. Well, it depends how Jamal looks in that, but I agree. I don't think you sell it. It's such a difficult sell now. It really is. So yeah, I'll be very, very surprised if we do see Jamal Charlo, which then leads to who is he going to fight? I mean, everyone will say David Benavidez. I saw a video of David Benavidez doing a bit of shadow work, little shadow boxing, and massive, man. Honestly, for a second, I thought, oh, what cruiserweight's this? That's what I thought until I read the caption, David Benavidez sort of starting camp or whatever. I could not believe the size of him. He must walk around 215, 220. I think he's that big, 215, 220, and then obviously makes the 168 for a second, and then will be in that ring close to 190, if not higher. And the reason I can say that so confidently is because I did the weight cut, and I myself put on, without even trying, I think I put on like 12 or 13 pounds in, I don't know how many hours it was, 15 hours or so. And I wasn't going for it. It wasn't like I was going for it because I had a fight. So I know what these guys must do to rehydrate. He will be. So as much as people want Canelo to fight him, if I am Canelo, I know that I'm giving away so much weight. Like, I think Benavidez will be bigger in the ring than Bivol was when he fought Canelo. So they've got a lot to think about, Canelo's team, because you're going to give away a lot. Younger, bigger, fresher, super middleweight. It's a risky one. So look, they're going to have to decide what Canelo wants to do. You know what I think is an option, and you guys might laugh at it, and fully get it if you laugh at it. Chris Eubank Jr. I think Chris Eubank Jr. over here, like, I'm desperate to see Canelo over here. There was a lot of talk about Canelo fighting Buatsi over here at the back end of last year. The back end of last year when Buatsi was still with Matchroom. There was a lot of talk about the John Ryder fight happening at the Arsenal Stadium. I'd love to see Canelo over here. Like, we don't really get to see the big names come over. We've had little sprinkles of them over the years, but in terms of a big name, no. So I'd love to see Canelo over here. I think Canelo will be surprised by just how popular he is over here. And Eubank's going to come and fight. He'll fight, and the face-offs and all that will be interesting. Because you got to look at the options. I mean, when Canelo signed this free fight deal with PBC, I think the idea was Jamal, and then one other. I think Eddie's right. It's not going to be Jamal. I don't think it's going to be Terence, as much as people want to see that fight. I don't think Terence is going to fight him. So then you kind of have to. And honestly, it's not that he's scared of Benavidez, but there has to be a worry there from Canelo's management. So not Canelo, because fighters will fight fighters, but it's his management team. Like, gee, this guy big. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I would love to see Eubank Jr. And I know Eubank is a man that can fight on any platform. He is he doesn't sign 2 or 3 fight deals. He literally is a fight by fight guy, and he's been calling for the fight as well. I wouldn't mind seeing it. I think Canelo would break him in half, but Eubank will go out swinging, I think. Where are we? 2 seconds. Let's see what else we got. Malik Scott believes heavyweight division would be more exciting with Wilder on top. Dude, stop this, Malik. Stop this. Is your guy gonna fight someone? Now, all this talk, well, get him on top then. Fight. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I love Malik. I've met Malik a few times, and he speaks so well about the game. Like, Malik should have a podcast. I don't know if he does. Maybe he does. If he doesn't, he should have a podcast. I think he's fantastic. But like, you've got a heavyweight there that everyone says this type of stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool, fight then. You're not fighting anyone. Like Andy Ruiz fell through. We don't know whose problem the AJ is, but that's now fallen through. Fight. Like, at least all the other heavyweights, whether I like their fights or not, are fighting. All the top ones. The AJ, I'm not particularly happy with Jermaine Franklin and Helenius, but at least he fought. Usyk, Dubois, at least he fought. Fury, and God, at least he fought. This man he's had one round in 2 years. He's had one round of boxing in 2 years. Jeez Louise. Joe Smith on Zurdo Ramirez clash just kind of came up. They asked if I wanted to take it. Yeah, boxers will fight, won't they? It's a weird fight though at cruiserweight. I don't understand it. Neither of these guys are cruiserweights. I mean, Zurdo was a super middleweight 3 years ago. Now all of a sudden he's a cruiserweight. It's like light heavy. Just make the weight. And I know he can, because he has done over the years. So I don't think either are going to make a big splash in the cruiserweight division. So it's kind of a weird fight, but it's a fun fight. Hopefully they don't come in super big. Hopefully they both just don't think, fuck it, let's just come in at 14 stone 2. Hopefully they don't do that, because I think both will look very, very sloppy and slow. Hopefully they just come in, I don't know, somewhere in between, almost like their own catch weight. Like they agree to each other. Okay, let's just, I don't know, 13-5 or something. Because it's going to look really sloppy. Two guys that are career, well, one is super middleweight, but both really light heavies coming in the cruiserweight, at the cruiserweight limit. It's going to look a bit weird. So yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Roy Jones Jr. feels Canelo is still at the top of his game. He showed us he's back. He didn't. You know, Jamel didn't help that. He looked good, but I don't know about the he's back thing, because you can only judge it on what's in front of him, and what's in front of him decided to run. I mean, what Canelo showed us that he has got, which I think we kind of question whether he still has, is the gas tank. The gas tanks look good, and his chin. Canelo's chin needs to be studied. It needs to be studied, because, again, like, Jamel can hit. That's one thing Jamel can do, is he can crack a little bit, and Jamel cracked that motherfucker, and nothing. Needs to be studied. All right, is there anything else before we wrap? Obviously, look, this is fight week for Lee Wood, Josh Warrington. I will do a couple of videos in the lead up to that. Really love this fight. Just two guys that will come to fight. Like we've seen these matchups with where you think it's going to go off and it doesn't go off. This will go off. I think the crowd will force it to go off. There's going to be a time where they engage, and Warrington, is 100 miles per hour, and Lee Wood's got that punch, right, to kind of put his lights out. So I think it's going to be a cracking atmosphere. Terry Harper, Cecilia Braccus is on that fight as well. That was supposed to happen a few months back. Cecilia got injured or sick. So they're going to do that. I think that's a good fight as well. It's going to be good to see some of the kids coming up. But yeah, looking forward to that. So we'll do videos on it. And hardcore boxing fans, you might want to put your fingers in your ears now or just stop watching the video. Obviously, we do have KSI versus Tommy Fury coming up. What I'm looking to do for that is almost daily vlogs. I'm there. So remember, this is next week it starts. So October the 14th is that fight. I'm there covering everything. So I'm doing the weigh-ins, the press conference, all the interviews, and obviously I'm the main host of the show. I do want a cameraman to kind of be with me behind the scenes vlogging. Ideally, you live in Manchester. And you're wanting to kind of get into the game, because I'm looking for someone to do that behind the scenes day vlogs with me. If you are a cameraman and you are watching this and you fancy it, let me know. Send me your work, and we can get this shit popping.